Good morning and welcome to the Oasis Center for Spiritual Living, where we come together as one, providing spiritual tools for daily living. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Reverend Tucker. I'm the senior minister here at the Oasis. And today we're going to be doing the last of our series, Back to Basics. We did the thing itself, the way it works, what it does, and today we're going to do how to use it. I'd also like to introduce to you my team. And I'm going to actually pull them up real quick. I like people to see my team. So, I got to get Oz up. He's at the bottom here. Okay, there we go. So, this is my lovely assistant, Faith, who has actually been raised in religious science. So, this is really cool that she can be my assistant. This is Oz. He's our practitioner of the day. And he's going to be praying us in and praying us out. And will be available later for our 1 minute miracle. And this right here is Albertina Giuffre, and better known as Tina. And she's been a singer in our church since like 2000. She's also a practitioner. So I'm really blessed to have such a wonderful team here with me today. And so just wanted everybody to say hi. All right. So if you're here, please say hello or hi so we know that you're here. It's always nice to know that we have an audience. We do the music of Fairy Elaine Silver every week. We Are All One. She has other songs, but that's one that we use every week. We also do music from Karen Drucker, and we've got a good one today that we're going to be doing. So I want to acknowledge them because they are gifting us with their music, and that is so special. Also, if you would like to do a watch party, there is a watch party button. It's a great way for you to experience church with your friends and be able to comment back and forth with them. So I'd like to invite you to close your eyes if that feels comfortable. Allow the service to uplift and inspire you as we move into our centering song.
Surely the presence of God is in this place. I can feel the mighty power and the grace. I can feel the rush of angels' wings. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of God is in this place. I can feel the mighty power and the grace. I can feel the rush of angels' wings. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of God is in this place.
I'm ready. Okay. I know that God is all that there is. And by that very statement, I know that God is right here, right now, where you are with Him, is. I know that the fact and how we use it just aligning ourselves with the perfection of being that God makes possible. For God makes everything.
Hey, Oz, I am going to pray us in because you're cutting out more than you're in. So right now, I just become aware of that powerful presence of God in and through all of life. It's in the air we breathe. It's in the beauty of the birds and the trees and the flowers, even the bees. And even as the wind begins or the world begins to chill down a bit, I know that that too is God. So I know without a shadow of a doubt that God is simply all there is, all there ever has been, all there ever will be, all there is right now. And I know that same truth to be so for myself, for I am one in that powerful presence of God. It is who and what I am, my very essence, my very life, my very being. It is who and what I am. Same goes for this team of God that I seem to have use of. This wonderful oneness expressing itself as the team of God in my God Squad, in this team today. And I know that same truth to be so for each person who is here today. For I know that we are all one. There is no place where one leaves off and another begins. There is only one. So I bless this service. I know that it is uplifting and inspiring to all who are listening. I know that the message of God comes through very clearly as I allow myself to let go of my human need to control how things are said and what is said. I bless it. I call it good. I give thanks for it and I let it be. And so it is. Amen. You know, we have technical difficulties every now and then, you know, in this, this age of technology. So I'd like to invite you to sing along with this next one. This is the We Are All One by Fairy Elaine Silver. Sing it loud, sing it proud, because here you are in your living room or wherever, and no one else can hear you.
We are all one. We are all one. We are all one in it. I hear it and know it, my being. Spirit is all I am seeing. For God is all there is. Grateful am I to be living, open to what I have seen, honoring what I've been given, sharing now what I believe. I remember the oneness around me. I surrender to infinite light, knowing the love that's surrounding me is within me by day and night. And we are all one. We are all one. We are all one in it. Yes, we are all one. We are all one. We are all one in it.
Oh, goodness, goodness, goodness. We are all one. So I'd like to invite you to say hi again if you're here. Also, if you like something that you hear, either something I've said or something Tina sings, you know, we love that little like, you know, your little thumbs up button. We also love to get love. So if something really touches you and you love it, please send us hearts. And of course, if something really strikes you as powerful, we have the wow button. I love the little wow button. It's one of my favorites. And let's see, I think that's it. And I'm going to turn this over to Miss Tina singing Thoughts Are Things, or Thoughts Create Things, I think it's called, with Karen Drucker.
Summer into fall, winter into spring. Listen to the call that thoughts become things. Thoughts become things. I I let my wishes ring. I'm awakening, the pendulum is swing. Thoughts become a thing, lessons they can bring. Aware that I'm aware, my thinking is a prayer. My thinking is a prayer. My thinking is a prayer. Thoughts become things. My wishes sing. I'm affirming now, God's declaring how each and every hour I tap into the power of universal law, brings sustainable. The magic of the mind is out of space and time, out of space and time, out of space and time. I'm opening. I'm awakening. Thoughts become things, the pleasures they can bring, the treasures of the King. I am one with everything. 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 Summer into fall, winter into spring. Listen to the call, the thoughts become a thing. 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 Choose good ones. Choose good ones.
Choose good ones. Thank you, Tina. Awesome. Oh my goodness. I love Karen Drucker. She's been the music director in 3 of our churches, and she's just so awesome. We love her so much. All right, so we've been in our Back to Basics series, the first 4 chapters of the Science Mind textbook. This last 4 weeks. Today is the last day. And the first chapter is the thing itself, and that is God. God within, that indwelling presence within each of us that is the thing itself. And our bodies and our lives have this divine blueprint that is the truth about us. You see, there's no place that God is not. And so we are made of that matter, that God stuff, that everything is made of, the entire universe. It doesn't matter whether you're talking about this desk or this computer or me or you or the animals. Everything is made of that God stuff. And so that is the truth about us. That's the thing itself that operates through us, as us. And that is the thing that propels us forward into a life of good, because we believe in a God that's all good. We don't believe that there's a power for evil in the universe, because if there was, if they were of equal power, they would cancel each other out. And we know that a powerful evil could not prevail in this world. So there has to be a power for good. And that is all there is that power for good. And it operates through us, as us. That is what we are made of, and that is who and what we are. And so every thought, every action, every deed is led and guided by that one infinite power within. And the way it works is through love and law. So love is a very impersonal love. And I know that sounds kind of weird to some people, but we don't believe in a God that has a personhood. We believe in a divine intelligence. And that divine intelligence is not a he or a she. And so what happens is that impersonal love, because we have free will, allows us to do things that may not be good for us, unfortunately. But we don't believe in a 911 God that's going to come down and rescue us, come down on some, take care of us like a magic carpet or anything. We don't believe in that kind of a God. We believe in a God that will allow us to do what we need to do to learn whatever lesson we've set out for ourselves. And again, we don't believe in a God that sets out a lesson plan, that we, in fact, decide for ourselves what lessons we came here to learn. And God will facilitate us in that because we have free will. And so it's impersonal. We could run out in the middle of the street and flag down cars to hit us, and God would allow that to happen. Now, what's very good about that is that when we know that God is impersonal, it can't choose one person over another, or it can't choose one gender over another. When I was in the Jewish faith, most of my childhood, that was one of the things that really upset me, was the idea that because of Adam and Eve, God preferred men over women. And being a little girl growing up, I just couldn't live with that kind of God. So it was very comforting to me to find a God that was very impersonal, that didn't choose one person over another. And then it's also love and law. So law is impartial. Now, that means that it works the same for everyone, regardless of race, color, gender, orientation. If I go over and I flip on that light switch, it's going to work for me the same way that it would work for a black male lesbian or black male gay person in my house. It's going to work the same way. It doesn't matter. And that's the thing that we need to understand, that there are spiritual laws just like there are physical laws. Gravity works the same for everybody. And it works all the time, unless, of course, you're in space. That defies gravity up in space. But for the most part, all of us are bound by the rules of gravity. And so that's really the way the spiritual laws work. Now, you've probably heard it by the name law of attraction. There's a lot of buzz about the law of attraction these days. And the law of attraction is a great law. It is. We like to refer to it as the law of cause and effect more than the law of attraction. But what it means is that you attract more to you of that which you think most about. So, for instance, if the preponderance of my thought is about how I don't have money, then I'm going to create poverty. If the preponderance of my thought atmosphere, if you will, is about that I have enough, that I do enough, that I am enough, then we're going to attract money to ourselves. And it works no matter whether you're talking about health or love or money. For instance, a person in love will attract more love to themselves. It's just the way it works. When someone's in love and they walk down the street, everybody's in love with them because they're in love with themselves. And so the law of attraction, or the law of cause and effect, says that what I focus my attention on, I create more of. And if I focus my attention on how I'm not loved, then I'm going to create more of those situations. I'm going to bring in people to show me that I'm not beautiful or I'm not loved. And if, in fact, we focus our attention on love, we will draw in those people to us that will tell us how beautiful we are and how loved we are, and will show us in their actions, not just their words. So that's the way the law works. And God is the name we give to that universal spiritual law, just like gravity is the name, one of the names we give to the physical law. But it's important to know that love and law both are very important to the process of creation. That's the way it works. What it does is it transforms us. Now, there's a difference between transformation and change. Change, as we've talked about, is something that can be changed back. When we have a transformation, there's no going back. And that's what happens when we use these principles. We separate ourselves most of the time. I'm a different person with my family than I am with my friends, than I am with my work buddies, than I am, in the church. And that's pretty much how we mostly live until we realize that there's only one person, one being. We're human doings on this earth. And we are spiritual beings having this human experience. And then we begin to understand that there's just that oneness. When it brings us to the oneness, that's what it does. It transforms us. And we begin to live our lives as if we are truly one with all of life, with nature, with each other, with everything and anything in this world. So what it does is it transforms us and allows us to see the oneness and experience the oneness everywhere. So today, now we come to that. How to use it. Now, if you've tuned in before to some of my sermons, you already know pretty much how to use it, but I'm going to go over the basics with you. First of all, there's meditation. All right. Meditation brings us to a point of awareness where we know that God is all there is, where we know that we are one with it. And there's different ways to do meditation. If you're a first-time person and you don't know how to do meditation, I've got some tricks that I can show you. For instance, a really good way, if you're a beginner, to get started is to put a flame in front of you, sit on the floor cross-legged and put a flame in front of you, a candle with a flame. And you're going to stare at this flame for like a minute. And then you're going to take the heels of your hands and you're going to place them into your eye sockets. You're not going to press down to where it's painful. You're just going to put them there so that there's a little pressure. And you will notice right here that there's a little flame. And the object is to hold that flame in place as long as you possibly can. Now, if you're a beginner, that's going to be maybe a minute, maybe even less than that. But as you increase the time that you spend doing it, and the more you focus, the idea is to take your mind off of everything else in the world and only focus on that flame. That's the only way you're going to keep it in place. But as you do that, you can build up to 10 minutes, 20 minutes, where you can hold that flame in place. And it flickers, it goes all over the place. Another really good one is to study your breath. So you can do this when standing in the grocery line if there's like a whole bunch of people, and just begin to count your breaths. Take a deep breath in, hold it for just a second, and out through your mouth. And you can do that and count to like 10. And every time you do that, your body begins to relax, because that's really what it's about. Our mind gets us going so crazy. Like, I don't know if it was my sister or my cousin posted this thing about wanting to go to sleep and her mind not allowing her to. And we've decided it's in our DNA because it happens to the whole family like that. But the best way that I know of to fall asleep is to do the counting of the breaths. Because if you're focused on the breath, your body has a chance to relax, and it takes your mind out of that monkey mind chatter that is going on. And meditation is, in many cultures, is for different reasons, but we use meditation just to connect with that infinite power, that infinite presence that is within us. It's sort of courting a relationship with that, if you will. Because we have to cultivate that relationship in order for that relationship to be strong. If you've been in a relationship with a person, you know you can't just ignore that relationship. You actually have to spend some time cultivating that relationship, getting to know one another, and meditation is a great way to do that. So I've given you some tips. I think meditation is perfect every day. Most people can start out just 10 minutes a day and work up. I spend about half an hour in the morning and about an hour and a half at night. My favorite thing is to get into the bath, put some candles on so it's nice and dark, and just begin to breathe and notice how I'm feeling and focus on the idea of God. That's another thing you can do. You can take words from a book and focus on those, but you're cultivating that relationship with God. And it's a good place to start when you want to do prayer. Because if you're already centered, if you already have that awareness of your relationship with God, then it's much easier to move into prayer. So the very first two steps of what we call Science of Mind treatment or spiritual treatment, which is our form of affirmative prayer. The first two steps are that meditation. And I'm going to go through those steps in a minute, but I just want to say we spend those time centering ourselves in those first two steps. The third step is like an affirmation. So I want to talk about affirmations for a moment, because I've said before, when we're born, our brain is smooth, kind of like a cue ball. It's smooth. And through repetition, we begin to develop grooves in the brain. And those grooves allow us to access that information more readily. And so what happens when you do affirmations is you're repeating something over and over and over again, giving yourself ready access to that information as it creates those deep grooves in the brain. Now, the problem with affirmations alone, just by themselves, is that, let me get this up here so you can see. So this is our teaching symbol. And you'll notice the first thing is that it's round, that it has, that represents the unbroken circle of life. And then it's divided into three parts. The top is the conscious mind, the middle is the subjective mind, and the bottom is the realm of form. And so the V stands for the conscious idea going through the subjective material or God stuff into form, and then returning back to the nothingness from which it came. And that is the process of creation. So what happens when we do only affirmations and nothing else is that the affirmation starts in this upper part here, and it goes down into the subjective material. Now, the subjective material holds all of the experiences you've ever had. It records everything like a computer drive. It records what you see, what you feel, what you hear. It records your reactions to everything. And so if you're doing an affirmation like, I am a goddess, here in the middle, it's going to go, yeah, no. And that's because we have somewhere in us decided it's not true. And so we affirm and affirm and affirm and affirm and affirm, and that's all we do. And it keeps bouncing back. So it never actually makes it to this bottom portion. Affirmations themselves, you know, you have to be careful how you word the affirmation. For example, I am enough is a great one. I took this class in hypnotherapy, and she was talking about I am enough is really the biggest challenge she sees with all of these people. No matter what the issue is, it seems to go back to I'm not enough. Whether you overeat or you're never happy with what you get, or whatever that is. She talks about the different clients she's had. Marissa Peer is her name. And she talks about the different clients she's had and how that applies. You know, one person was a movie producer and nothing was ever good enough for him. And another person was an overeater. And another person was someone who drank alcohol a lot. Another person was afraid to get on an airplane. Another person, you know, she's going through all of these people and she's saying, you know, everything that she starts with is teaching them how to say, I am enough. Because there's not a lot in that subjective material to bounce it back. If, for instance, you say, I have a lot of money, and you've never had the experience of having money, that subjective material is going to bounce back and go, yeah, right, you don't have any money. If you say, you know, I have perfect health and you have all these health issues happening, then you're going to say, I have perfect health, I have perfect health, I have perfect health, and that subjective material is going to bounce back. So in conjunction with doing affirmations, what we're going to do is going to work on that subjective material. For instance, I do an affirmation. I don't do it like 100 times really, really fast, like most people will do. I'm enough, I'm enough, I'm enough, I'm enough, I'm enough. We take the space in between and we say, I am enough. And then we listen. What is our mind saying to us? When our mind says that, we acknowledge it and let it go. Then we say the affirmation again. Then we take the time to listen very carefully to what our mind is saying back to us. And we work with this subjective material all the time, because the only way that we're going to get anything to happen is going to have to be through that subjective material. And we're going to have to get rid of all of the objections we would have to the affirmations we're going to have. So our founder, Dr. Ernest Holmes, said, there is a power for good in the universe and you can use it. And, you know, there's not much I would change about what he had to say other than this. It's not that we can use it. It is that we do use it. I would change it to say there's a power for good in the universe and we can use it consciously, because we use it unconsciously most of the time. And one of the ways that happens is you have this subjective material creating all the time. You have these experiences of poverty or of illness or of not being loved. You have all this material that's sitting there in that middle portion there, in that subjective material, and it is always creating behind the scenes, and it is creating a life we really don't want to have. So we want to interrupt that process. And one of the ways we can do that is through our form of prayer. It's an affirmative prayer. It is not a beseeching prayer. We call it spiritual mind treatment because it is treating the mind of the one who's praying, and it's treating the mind of the person being prayed upon. We are treating our mind so that we begin to vibrate at the frequency of that which we want to see. For instance, let's take money, because money's on everybody's mind right now with COVID and everything. The frequency of abundance is much different than the frequency of poverty. When we vibrate at the frequency of abundance, then abundance is attracted to us. We're back to that law of attraction again. Changing our frequency means that we have to do something to our mind to be able to vibrate at that frequency instead of vibrating at the frequency of poverty. Love is another one. Again, remember, if you're in love, the world falls in love with you. So what is that? That is the vibrating at the frequency of love. When we're in love, it's so easy for us to vibrate at that frequency. When we're not, we have to work at it a little bit. But the object of our affirmative prayer is to vibrate at the frequency of health, of love, of prosperity, of life, of beauty. Whatever that the issue is, or the perceived issue is, we're going to know the opposite for ourselves. So let's talk a little bit about our spiritual mind treatment. There are 5 steps. The first one is recognition. Recognition is the idea that we recognize God as simply all there is. Sound familiar? The thing itself. God is simply all there is. So we spend time recognizing where God is, where we see it, where we feel it, where we acknowledge it. It's really easy for me when I sit out on my patio and I can just feel the breeze and I can hear the trees rustle, the leaves rustle. I can hear the birds. I can hear all the sounds of the neighborhood. It is really easy for me to recognize God in that place. I love it when I sit in my bathtub because there I too just tune into that powerful presence that I feel. I hear the bubbles bubbling. My awareness of everything seems to be heightened because I'm vibrating at that frequency of God in that moment. So we bring our awareness to God, and that's the recognition step, where we acknowledge that God is simply all there is, all there ever has been, and all there ever will be here and now. All there is right now. The second step is unification, where we recognize that if God is simply all there is, if everything in the world is made of God, if God is flowing in and through everything in the world, then I must be one in God. I don't say one of God. I don't say one as part of God. I say one in God. If I were to part God out, if I were to say, I am part of God, I would be parting God out. And God is infinite and cannot be parted out. It is whole, perfect, and complete as is. And so we don't say we are part of God. We say we are one in God. And then I acknowledge not only am I one in God, but everyone in my world is one in God. Because when I look around and I see the animals and I see the people that come to visit me and I see all of this stuff, I know that there is only one power, one presence, one life, and we are of it. We are it. We are in it, through it, as us. And that's what the unification step is all about, to recognize that there can't be any other. There is no place where one person leaves off and another begins. There can't be. There is only one. And if you notice, those 2 steps are very much like meditation. They're very much cultivating a relationship with God, in God, I should say. There's no one to cultivate a relationship with outside of ourselves. We cultivate the relationship of God within us when we do those 2 steps. The third step, sure, it just slipped right out of my head. Realization. See, I've been doing this for 20 some odd years. Okay, so realization is the step that is much like an affirmation. The difference here is that we have prepared our consciousness for that affirmation to take seed. And so here in the realization step, we are saying, this is mine now. I have this already. We stay in the present moment. We declare it as ours now. We don't say, I'm going to be getting, or I hope to get, or please provide. No. Much like when Jesus did his prayer, thank you, God, that thou hearest me. Let's see. Thank you, God, that thou hearest me now. We are declaring our truth. We are not asking. We are not beseeching. We are not saying, well, maybe, or I hope, or I pray, or we're not acknowledging anything that is in lack. We are staying in the present moment, and we are declaring our truth for us now. So say health is an issue, for example. I now know that the perfect idea of health, that blueprint of God that lives within me, now surfaces to display in the manifest world. I now allow that divine perfection of health to be my reality here and now. I accept it, I claim it, and it is mine. You see? Or if love, so I've already done my work, and then I declare right now, I now feel that divine essence of love flowing through me. Whether it comes from another person or not, I know that love is what I am. I have changed my vibration. I accept it. I claim it. It is mine. If we're talking about money, I had a friend one time that used to say, my daddy is richer than cream. And she meant God. But it was really cool because it gets you in that feeling of knowing that the vibration of God is so powerful. So when we're talking about money, the vibration of prosperity is what I'm experiencing now. God's vibration, that perfect prosperity that lives in the mind of God, is mine here and now. I have everything I need to share and to spare. I have everything I need to live a comfortable lifestyle. I have everything I need and more. Okay? So that's the realization step. Thanksgiving, which, Dr. Ernest Holmes called it Thanksgiving. And we are giving thanks. But I really prefer gratitude myself because it makes me feel the gratitude. Thanksgiving doesn't really make me feel the gratitude. The word Thanksgiving, let's put it that way. So we spend a lot of time allowing ourselves to feel grateful in our lives about everything. But specifically when we're trying to do, or when we're doing, we can't try. When we're doing spiritual mind treatment, when we're giving Thanksgiving, when we allow ourselves to feel the gratitude, let it overwhelm us and overcome us. Let it feel itself through us. Then I am so grateful. And again, we don't say I'm grateful that I have all this money. We don't say I'm grateful for this problem being alleviated. No, we claim it as done. So we say, I am grateful that this is done now. We don't pick up the issue. I am grateful that this is done now. And my heart fills with gratitude and love to know this is so. And then the easiest and hardest step yet, release. That's the last step, the 5 steps of treatment. Release is easy. It's an easy concept, but it's harder to practice. Release means that, the words that we use usually are, and so it is, or I release this and let it be, and so it is, amen. Amen and so it is, or, interchangeable. You don't really need both of them. We do it mostly because others need to hear the words amen. But I kind of like it. It just puts that punctuation on the end of it there. But release in practice is a little more difficult. Release in practice means that we don't go out and plant a seed, water it, fertilize it, and then every 5 minutes go dig it up. It hasn't happened yet. What's the matter? It hasn't happened yet. And then dig up the seed to see what's going wrong. However, in our lives, that is what we do. If we're looking for that perfect job, we're sitting there, I don't see it yet. Where is it? Why is it not there? If we're looking for that relationship, how come I don't see somebody that I really want? It's been a half an hour since I did that treatment, right? Or money is a whole other one, you know. We want to jump from poverty to millionaire in a hot second. And it's not that all of this takes time. It takes the time it takes for our spiritual body to embody that vibration. That's the time it takes. And it doesn't matter whether that's days or weeks or minutes, months or years, because God knows no time. We have a linear perspective on time. And so because of that, we're thinking, oh, this should happen in 5 minutes. This should happen in an hour. This should happen. I see these TikTok videos all the time where like, say these 5 affirmations and you will receive in 10 minutes, you know. Okay, whatever. It doesn't really work that way. The way it works is that we sit in the consciousness of that and we allow that vibration to take over, and we release the idea that we know how it has to look, how it has to happen, when it has to happen. And every time it pops into our brain, we go, nope, I released that. It's done. It is done already. I don't need to pick it back up. And we just have to allow God's time to be the time that we take to prepare our consciousness for receiving. That's really what it's about. Are you ready to receive? That's our acronym. RURTR. Are you ready to receive? And the truth is that until we're ready to receive that perfect job or that perfect relationship or the millions of dollars that have our name on it, until we're ready to receive that, it's not going to happen. So in our time of release, what we are doing is, no, I released that already. That's done. And then we go back to, what is it that I need to work with? My favorite thing to ask God is, what is keeping me from my good? What do I need to know about what is keeping me from my good? I do visioning a lot. And in that visioning, that's the question I add. That's not really the steps that we've done from Dr. Michael Beckwith. But that is another way of using Science of Mind. There are usually 3 questions. What is God's vision for my life? And knowing that we can't have that which we are not, what must I become in order to be the vessel of manifestation for that idea or that ideal? And what must I release in order to be that? And so we do visioning a lot. About once a quarter, we do visioning here at the Oasis for people to get straight with that. But the question I like to ask at the very end for myself is, what do I need to know about what is in the way of my having, and then fill in the blank? You know, what is in the way of me having my perfect experience of health? What is in the way of me experiencing that perfect relationship that fulfills me, that makes me feel loved? What is in the way of me experiencing financial independence, prosperity? What do I need to know about that, God? And I get answers. I get whatever's in that subjective area, that subjective piece of the symbol. I get answers about what I've believed or what I've thought, about what I have accepted as my truth that is no longer true. Truth and fact are really interesting. We can have a whole set of facts, doesn't mean they're true. And in that subjective mind, what we have done is we have placed everything in there as if it is all true. And it may have been true at the moment, but it's not true any longer. And so we want to focus our attention on those things that we need to perhaps change our beliefs about, change our mind about. Focus on the vibration of God. cultivate that relationship with God through meditation, through prayer. Do affirmations, and then in between those affirmations, listen for what comes up as an objection to that. There was this author named, I think Sandra Ray was her name, and she did a whole thing on affirmations, where you do the affirmation, and then whatever comes up, you do an affirmation to combat the affirmation, combat the material that came up. So you're going to kind of work on that. That's how it works, how to use it. This is how we use the principles of science of mind. Will you do that with me? Let's have a prayer. Right now, I just move my awareness to that infinite power, that infinite presence of God that flows through all of life, easily and effortlessly and perfectly. I know that as this power is all present, all knowing, all being, that it is everywhere present at every moment. In fact, there is no place where God is not. So I just turn my awareness now to the truth of God, the beingness of God that is in and through and flows easily and effortlessly through all of life. As such, I know that that is where I find myself, in the midst of God, my very essence, my very being, my very life. It is who and what I am. And every thought, every action, every deed is guided and led by that one infinite presence of God that resides within me. I know the same truth to be so for my team. For we are one team in the life of God. God's message and life and breath lives through us as a team. The message of God comes through each one of us in our respective duties. So I know it for Faith and for Tina and for Oz and for Lynn, my team, God's team, that we are one. I know it for every person that is listening here today, or even in the future. For we are all one in God. There is no place where one of us leaves off and the other begins. The unbroken circle, the unbroken unity of all life is the truth about us, who and what we are. And as that breath breathes through us, as that life lives itself through us, I bless this coming week, because I do know that as we cultivate that relationship with God more and more, as we allow that to be our focus and attention, our life, our beingness, our awareness, that more of God shows up in all of our affairs. And anything unlike that truth is dissolved back into the nothingness from which it came. I know for every name that is in the ministry of prayer today, that blessing holds true for them as well. For whatever challenge they are experiencing, God is the answer. And I now claim it and name it in their name. I pull back the veil, allowing that truth to shine forth until the issue itself dissolves back into the nothingness from which it came. And only God is present. I call it good and very good, and I am grateful that it is done. And so it is. Amen. Oh my goodness. All right. So now is the time for us to, our opportunity to receive your gifts, tithes, and offerings, and your opportunity to practice some gratitude and give thanks for that which you have seen already in manifest in your world. And for those things that you have already created in mind, but have not made it yet through to form. And so I invite you to go to oasiscsl.org. And on that main page there, in the middle of the page, is an offering affirmation we say. And underneath that is a contribute now button. So I'm going to give everybody a minute to go to that link that I'm sure Faith has put in the comment section here. You can just click on it and it should take you right to that link. And then we're going to get to the offering affirmation. Please say that with me, whether you're listening now or you're listening later. You can participate at this level because you're preparing your consciousness for that gift that you're giving to be circulated, to return to you tenfold. This perfect gift is spirit in form, circulating and blessing all it touches. Freely I give, and joyously I receive, and so it is. Press that contribute now button. Here's Tina.
Well, not by night, not by power, by your spirit, God. Send your spirit, God. Not by might, not by power, by your spirit, God. Send your spirit, God. You are the fire, we are the temple. You are the voice and we are your song. You are God, we are your people. You are the light, we stand in awe. We stand in all of you. Oh, we stand in awe of you. Not by might, not by power, by your spirit, God. Send your spirit, God. Not by might, not by power, by your spirit, God. Send your spirit, God. Oh. You called us out of the darkness, into your love, into your light. Grace upon grace, beauty for ashes. You come to us and we come alive. We stand in awe of you. Oh, we stand in awe of you. Not by might, not by power. Send your spirit, God. Send your spirit, God. Not by might, not by power. By your spirit, God. Send your spirit, God. Not by might, not by power. By your spirit, God. Send your spirit, God. not by power, by your Spirit, God. Send your Spirit, God. Breathe, come and breathe on us. Spirit, breathe, breathe on us. Breathe, come and breathe on us. Spirit, breathe, breathe on us. Not by might, not by power, by your Spirit, God. Send your Spirit, God. Not by might, not by power, by your Spirit, God. Send your Spirit, God.
All right.
Ah, thank you, God.
That was a song by Tasha Cobbs Leonard that I had never heard before, and neither had Tina. So you did a lovely job. That was wonderful.
Oh,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you. All right, let's see here. All right, so we have a wonderful God Squad that is made up of licensed practitioners from coast to coast. And they are this wonderful team that are just out of this world. I just cannot say how much I appreciate them. And today we have our practitioner of the day, which is the wise and powerful God, Oz. Wise and powerful God. Yeah, that works. The wise and powerful Oz. He's available for what we call our 1 minute miracle. It's not a time for counseling, but it is a time where you can stop and share whatever challenge you are experiencing, and he will stop, drop, and pray with you right then and there. He does this through video chat. You can reach out to him by video chat. If he doesn't answer right away, it's because he's on the phone with someone else. And so just be patient and call back in a couple of minutes. All right. So if you are having a challenge and you would like your name to be in the Ministry of Prayer today, please say yes, or say whatever your challenge you're experiencing in the comment field. If you don't want to do it so it's public, you can always message one of us and we'll get it put on the prayer list. We have this group page that is only for our God Squad. So nobody else sees the prayer requests on there. And also, our practitioners are available by appointment for a fee for spiritual guidance. So if you would like to get a session with one of our practitioners, just reach out, go to our website, select a practitioner, get in touch with them, and you can set up an appointment for a fee for spiritual guidance, and then they will reach out to you through video chat as well. Also, you might be wondering, I have this now, a new mask. This one's from Brooks Limited again. Isn't this cool? She did a really nice job. I love all the different colors. It's got purple in it, of course, because purple is my color. No one would ever have guessed that, you know, but as you can see, I can talk very freely in the mask. So I just wanted to put a shout out to. I'm also wearing one of her summer collection. I think it was the summer, which she has on sale right now. So Faith has put Brooks Limited in the comments. So you can click on that and go to her collections and buy something. They're on sale, like I said, and she has one of a kind things that are just awesome. If you would like to participate in our Ministry of Prayer as a God Squad member, you don't have to be a licensed practitioner. You just have to be willing to pray every day on those requests for a week with affirmative prayer. And so if you're willing to serve in that capacity and follow through, please type yes in the comment field and we will get you added to the God Squad page. And then if you would like to receive information about classes and everything else that we're offering before the world gets it, say more, and Faith will add you to our public page, which is our online community. And we are starting foundations class, hopefully, if we get some students, October 1st. It will meet 10 weeks on Thursdays from 7 to 10 in the evening, Mountain Time. The class is $300, which is a steal when you think about it. That's $30 a class. And it will change your life. That's the best way I know to embody the principles that I've been talking about the last 4 weeks, is to get into class where you actually work through the process and come out on the other end with a transformation. So I want to also remind you about Brooks and Bailey, their malas and bracelets, which benefit the Rocky Mountain Lab Rescue. You want to reach out to them through Brooks and Bailey 0307@gmail.com and get some. They're wonderful. I've got a couple of them. And Faith has already got all of that in the comments section as well. I want to invite you to buy some CDs of Fairy Elaine Silver and also Karen Drucker. We have their website information on the comments now. Elaine is not able to update her website, so you will have to reach out to her via email so that you can find out where to send the money to pay for those. But we really like to support those that support us. Karen Drucker's website works fine. You can order the CDs. It's an easy process. And by all means, do support her. She's donated her entire collection to us, gifted us with that, 20 albums, and she's got some really good stuff. So please avail yourself of their music. And again, I want to point you to our website, oasiscsl.org. We have all the current video sermons. We have past audio sermons on there. We have our practitioner page, so you can get to know the practitioners. We have a lot of exciting information on the page, or on the website. So please go there and check it out. And let's move into our closing song here.
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed.
You're on mute, Oz. Oz, you're muted.
I know the blessings of this week come forth from that same fountain of God, which is always everywhere, in us, as us, moving through our life, creating our life, living us and breathing us. For being part of that blessing, I give great thanks and I let it be so. And so it is.
And so it is. God's in the technology too. I am blessing that technology right here, right now. All right. So thank you for being with us today. We love you. There's 1,000 places you could be on a Sunday morning. We're glad you were here with us. Stay safe, wear a mask, and see us next week. We're going to start a new series on 10 weeks on the road to prosperity. So we love you. Bye.
Bye.